back at the fourth dimension, and we're up to part 8 of Roland. Uh, so, in part 7, we went into a deep dive into consciousness itself, and we started discussing the actual fabric of the matrix. So, I think Roland might have joined me online now. I'll just turn my camera on. Are you there, brother? Just wait for him to activate his microphone. So in the matrix, we're talking geometrics at the moment. We've discussed how several key human attributes may, over time. Here he is. Hey,
Hey,
good to see you, mate. I was
how you going?
good. I was just sitting here talking to myself while I was waiting for you. How you going?
Yeah, good. I was in the waiting room, but I had to press another button. Sorry.
No,
Mm.
that's all good. All good. How are you, mate?
I'm good. How was your week?
Yeah, it's been a very busy one. Very busy. Lots going
Really?
on. Yeah.
Wow. Is
Yeah,
that work
so
or personal?
everything really. It's
A
almost
little bit
like
both.
there's a bit of a quickening going on. There's something going on in the stars at the moment, I think. And
Mm.
yeah, it just seems like all sort of aspects of life are kind of speeding up, and decision making is needing to be made faster and faster. So
Mm.
yeah, dealing with sort of strategic life challenges, let's call it, and
Wow.
trying to navigate our way through that. So yeah, on the work front, things are busy and escalating and quite stressful, but kind of
Mm.
got that stuff sorted out. On the home front, definitely going to be making some major pivots in my future. So yeah, I'll be keen to share that with you offline initially, and then if people are interested, we can talk about that too down the track. But yeah,
Okay.
it's all happening.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Well,
how are you going? You've had a big week yourself. You've had some major pivots.
yes, I did. Yeah, it's a decision I've been sort of hesitant to make, just because it is life changing. I moved places, moved together with my partner. So yeah, it's changing the scenery and work as well. So I'm starting a job next month here,
Excellent.
yeah, down south. So exciting, and it's
Yes.
easy. Next to how much stuff goes into this to organize it, and then shift all my gear and all
Mm,
that. It's been very easy, and
yeah.
it shows that we on the right path.
Yeah. I quite often find that when circumstances tend to unfold in an easy or effortless kind of fashion, kind
Mm.
of shows you that you're doing the right thing. It's like when you're doing the wrong thing, it's like trying to swim against the current of a river, you just don't make it.
Exactly.
You're always spinning your wheels, and then as soon as you change your mind and decide to pivot and go in a different direction, it all starts to become easier again.
100%. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. It's a good. People should listen to these little signs because obviously sometimes we're not able to tune in. I
Mm.
think if that's exactly a good sign. So things are happen, fall into places, happens for a reason, and
Yes.
you just have to go with the flow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely. Just roll with it, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And part of it, I think, is one of the challenges I had for many years was not being able to identify the breadcrumbs or the little sparkles that are out there that you need to follow. I call them breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Because generally the breadcrumbs, if you can identify them, that does take you in the right direction. So, sort of like
Mm.
sniffing them out.
Yes. Yeah. And it's easy to get distracted on me. So this
Yeah.
world is designed not to be able to be in tuned in our senses and gut feelings and recognize what's your purpose really and where you have to go. So
Yeah.
you channel your energy to the right direction. It's exactly right. You accelerate yourself to the to the right way.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, mate.
Mm.
Well, it's been a big week. I thought I'd just anchor this conversation in time. So, uh, really, this week we've had in the global sort of sense, we've had some escalations. So we've had America and Russia organise a meeting yesterday over in Alaska, and the two heads, Putin and Trump, uh, seemed to be cordial and have a meeting that seemed to go okay, but there's been no concrete or no concrete results from it. No deals are signed, and there's been some interesting circus around that meeting. I don't know whether you saw it. Did you
No.
keep an eye on
So
that?
I saw snippets of the beginning of the meeting, the actual broadcasted version. I didn't see. No. So
Yeah.
if you expand on it, would be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So the circus part is, you know, Trump has obviously wanted a photo opportunity with Putin because he's looking for a Nobel Peace Prize and all of those sort of things. So he's organised this circus up in Alaska, and Putin's been courageous enough to visit. Now, while they were on the tarmac, there was some shenanigans. Putin knew that Trump was trying to set him up a little bit to upstage him, and so Putin just waited in his aircraft for Trump to stick his head out first, and then they met down on this red carpet or at the airport there, and then so I guess Trump's plan to have Putin wait around, standing there, looking, I guess not the stately leader that he should be, didn't work out. Putin called him out, and then so Trump's tried to fly a B-2, or he has flown a B-2 stealth bomber and four other stealth jets over the top of them both, which I think is a brazen, egotistical thing to do.
Yeah.
But Putin handled it really well, and at the end of the sort of closing of the meeting, they had a short press conference, and nothing was really said. There's been no announcements on a peace or ceasefires or anything, but Putin broke into English right at the end of the press conference. And so Trump had said, it was great, a great meeting, blah, blah, blah. And Putin then said right at the end, as they were about to walk off, that next time you come to Russia. And he said it in English. And it caught Trump right off guard. It was the perfect tactical move to make at that time. Trump kind of looked really uneasy and didn't know how to answer the question. And he said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'll have to check with my guys." So what it
My
shows is,
handlers. My handlers.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But this goes to the point of what you and I have been talking about. These people, the puppets at the top, aren't actually in control. They've got to consult
Yeah.
and go through processes with powers behind the scenes. So I just thought that's an interesting way to start the conversation, because we kind of were talking about powers behind the scenes and
Right.
things like that at in our last chat. So, but in between times, I just thought I'd bring up the messaging that we've been doing back and forth. So there's been some really interesting ones, mate, that you've sent me, and I don't know if you want to talk about some of those first, but there's a couple that I'm keen to have a chat about. If there's any that you want to bring up, please do. But I really liked the one initially about truth is your point of view in many ways. So there was an interesting diagram, and I'd seen it before years ago, but it's kind of three concentric circles looking down from the top, and they get progressively smaller, and then you flip it on its side, and it's a totally different view, and it's three lines that look like a pyramid. And then you flip it again, and it looks like another thing. So you've got the observer effect, observing a different reality, and that is their truth. So it's a very interesting way of highlighting perspective.
Correct.
Mm,
It is. So the truth is truth. You don't change it. You just change your perspective, and it looks different. Correct.
yes.
But it doesn't change the idea or the actual core of the meaning. And as you said, yeah. So you ended up with two circular planes in one sense, and then you flip to the side, and it's a two-dimensional three lines exactly, which is remnants or looks like everything is sort of relate to everything, isn't it? Like
Yes.
if you put the waveforms on its side, and obviously when you ram too many information in one segment, it changes shape, and it's the structural. It's gonna be that sort of um, geometric shape. We were talking about shapes and how geometric shapes and um, numerical sequences are found all through our existence, living things, shapes. I mean, sorry, nature. But also we can. What I find interesting, and it's related to the Kabbalah, basically, is the Hebrew letters. Basically, you can, with one shape, you can describe the whole 27 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which I find it super interesting because that geometrical 3D shape, when you create that shape, you change the angle of that shape, and what you actually observe, it changes the meaning of the letter. And so, uh, in this concept, um, one geometric shape in 3D can describe 27 letters in 2D, which creates so the letter creates words, words creates verses, verses creates um, um, actual day, and a day creates week, and geometrically all lined up. The interesting part as well, if you look at numerology within the letters, you end up with um, nine letters in three groups, and that creates your 27 letters. And what they describe, that the letter is actually the shape of the hand,
Mm, mm,
and that hand is what the creator's hand. So the God's hand.
yes.
It's created the world by its will
Mm,
and described with shapes.
mm,
So what I'm trying postulate is, which is not my idea, is that everything is pretty much encoded with letters and patterns and geometrical shapes, and we already discussed that they referring to the golden ratio and then the pi, which we
mm,
can see in buildings. Our cultural ancestors or the people before us were well aware of.
mm, mm.
And so, and I'm pretty sure we already discovered a lot of things which has been hidden, and that's why they call them hidden knowledge, which
Mm,
passed
mm.
on in certain groups. And so Kabbalah is no escape from that. And incredibly, looking at the Hebrew um, mysticism and all the Shambhala which comes with it, it's all gathered from Old Persian, Sumerian, or Egyptian after that.
Yes.
Um, Mysticism. So it's a mixture of things, and you can find them popping up in different religions, secret texts or sacred
Mm,
texts. So again, there's nothing new under the sun.
mm.
We're just trying to unravel where is our point of connection within this understanding of shapes and geometrics, and how does it relate to us. And what I
Yes.
find it to add it to is they call it the Sufi whirling or turning. This is a Sufi dance. You can quite you've probably seen videos in Turkish culture, Arabic cultures. They have this meditative dance, which they actually just spinning around their own axis, and they get into this trance. And it's a dance of or called Sama worship or ceremony. And what it does, Sama means, or Sama is coming from a Persian word called listening, or Arabic word, sorry, listening, and azan, which is a door, it's a Persian, so it's to spin, to focus, to let go your own desires and ego, and by listening to the music and creating these swirling motions, you can get into a state of uh, euphoria where you can hear God or speak to God or get into this state. So you can physically create a state of being through meditation and movements that can channel you are out of this world's knowledge or experience or power.
Yes. Yeah. I
So
see. Yeah. So I guess this is a really important concept. Is although I don't know particularly about that Sufi style dancing, and I'd like to kind of watch it. Haven't been
yeah,
exposed to much of it, but some of
crazy.
these rituals that Indigenous people have been doing for thousands of years, dancing around a fire, clapping, stomping, um,
Drumming.
chanting, drumming, moving their body through a series of motions, takes them into a euphoric kind of state where they are in touch with a divine that they perceive, and they connect themselves with that during those dances, and traditional customs. So
Yeah.
I think intuitively we've lost our connection with some of these practices and rituals that humans used to perform to be more in contact with the divine. And that might be some of the reason why a lot of Western societies are kind of crumbling, because we're losing connection with the divine. And each culture had its different ways of connecting with the divine, and maybe that there were reasons for that. Maybe within the substrate of the earth there's different magnetic forces, that the only way of tapping into them, they're kind of like frequencies, and in different parts of the world you need to do different types of dancing to be connected to those energetic fields. And maybe over thousands of years, those humans did adapt to what was required there. Like the Hopi Indians in America were very connected to the land and Mother Nature, if you want to call it that, there over thousands of years. And their practices, though, were very different from the Polynesians who lived in the South Pacific, but yet were very connected with, that Mother Nature side of things.
Yes.
So, look, I just want to come back to what you mentioned earlier. I'm just going to tap my phone here. I lost you there for a second. I got you back now.
Yeah.
So I want to take you back to, because I think we kind of went over it really quickly.
Shifted.
That we went into the Sufi dancing, but you were talking about the hands
Yes.
and the shape of the hand being a three-dimensional object that, as it rotates through space, can essentially create letters, and the letters of the ancient Hebrew alphabet.
Correct.
Now, I can understand the context of that shape being made into a physical item, which that physical item has kind of like it has the golden ratio built into it, but it's almost like a snapshot of a fractal movement, something that would be an infinite thing if it was allowed to evolve over time. but it's condensed into one shape that can form the 27 letters. And I think a good example of the 27 letters was demonstrated on a nested cube. And I like that way of representing it, because essentially, if you can create the word, then you have so many opportunities under the word to manipulate reality and change everything, or fix everything as well. So you have the ability through word in the human consciousness to manipulate time, space. But you need to know the word, and then need to know how to bend time. So I really like the analogy of the alphabet, and the golden ratio through what we can perceive as a human hand, but maybe it's the hand of a divine intelligence, and
Yes.
it's given us everything. It's given us
Correct.
the word per se. You know, uh, in some of those older languages, in Sumerian and Hebrew, letters were related to numbers. They were directly intertwined. So you get two dimensions immediately connecting.
Sorry.
If you can join, it's all good, man. Is that? I won't say names, but bye. Have a good day.
Yeah, she's going to work.
um, so
Lovely. Sorry. Okay, gone. She's gone.
no,
That,
all good. But
that's
it's
correct.
really beautiful that you can combine through gematria the ability of numbers and letters. So two different dimensions to the word and the mathematics join and can form physicality,
Correct.
which we can then, if we can conceive of the physicality, we can then understand how other forces are using the word or words to manipulate us. But we also can see what the fundamental structures should be, and then how to build onto those.
Correct. And
Yeah.
so if you think so the actual shape we were talking about, so this the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet,
Mm.
they actually resemble a lung and the heart, the spiral as a vertex. And we know that the heart is a vertex. So
Mm.
if you open up a heart, the muscle actually just roll out like a
Mm.
scroll.
Mm.
And so it is, again, the words have meanings, the meanings have attachments, and that these attachments are represent um, us as living beings. So that's why I said everything is connected, and it shows how much we need to look into ancient rituals or ceremonies and connect the dots, because maybe when we see that as a whole, we can really understand all the angles and shapes what we can't see right now.
Yeah.
Um, what what I was going to say is, so if the language, so as we know, English is a manufactured language, which now almost globally spoken. Some people calls it the new Babylonian language, right? Um, so if we know that the ancient Hebrew, and maybe that was the sorry, the language that everybody spoke at first, maybe it's not the case, but they had one language which was created as a creative power within the language. I could see how um, the ancestors were able to create in such a magnificent architecture, as well as they have much more knowledge. They were a creative knowledge, which we
Mm.
now uh, almost, we say we advanced, but we translate it into um, a lot of energy loss technology, where we have to keep priming constantly and maintain and all that, because it's under um, uh, certain physics where we can't do it without. We know we've talked about free energy and the suppression of that. I think is
Mm.
all related. So we're talking about language, cultures, spirituality, understanding of physics and mathematics and um, quantum physics. And in the end, they all describe the same outcome. And so, where's that place us humans, where we navigate? You were talking about habits or habituary, um, almost things we do in the way to connect with God. I think the Western world have habituary. Um, sorry, they have these rituals. Well, we do rituals every day, going to work, prep lunch, clean up, do all this physicality around. It's going to create a physical identity and physical mindset, a
Mm.
materialistic mindset in our world. And so by introducing other concepts or spirituality and mathematics into this reality, maybe enables us to break away from these rituals, which keep
Mm.
us two-dimensional
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
sense.
distracted. Yeah, distracted even. And enslaved. I'm using pretty powerful words, but yeah.
Correct. That is because knowledge is power. Also, it's inevitably your freedom. The being, if you translate it into today's world, these are the things are being controlled. Our sovereignty, our own um, power to navigate without oppression, to create, to able to express without fear and consequences in that we're going to be oppressed in many ways. So
Mm.
people are, if we are doing the right thing, they should realize that physicality and the physical world is the creation of our mind and our perspective.
Mm.
And once you able to pass that, then you can enter into the possibilities, which are endless in that sense, which is the
Yes,
creative force of the universe.
yes, yeah,
And it's within you and within me. And by just understanding and practicing spirituality should create our world, which
yes,
we longing to live.
yeah. I agree. And one of the challenges that we face in this, 21st century is that uh, there's nations on the global stage that want to tell you what spirituality you should follow to live in those nations. So we've got a divide and conquer type approach to spirituality, where the state is going to be the dominant force apparently moving forward. There's no discussion at the moment on the global stage about, human spirituality and alignment in that. At the moment, it's about resources and territory. So, spirituality is getting decided by the governing bodies of the world at the moment. And I, in terms of a matrix of control, spirituality doesn't apparently have much influence. But I'd be interested to discuss at some point, these leaders of spirituality that exist at the moment, like the Pope, or the Ayatollah. You know, are these people spiritual people in your mind, or um, is spirituality in our modern sense just an illusion? Have we lost our way spiritually, even at the top?
Well, we talk about top. So who are on top? We know the rulers of this world, and they are sitting in high places. Doesn't mean that they're given their power to fulfill a function and maybe a prophecy. So they're all part of the puzzle, or part of the Monopoly board game.
Mm,
Do they spiritual? In maybe they, in the very evil and dark sense, they are, because they're serving an entity, which
mm,
is, we know that it's not the entity we would like to worship.
mm,
It is an entity where it brings destruction, control, and a takeaway of freedom,
mm,
and prey over your children.
mm,
I, if it's spiritual in the sense, they serve an entity which is not my favor,
mm.
um, or favorable power. Um, Going back though, if you're looking at the geopolitical sense, like you said, so it's interesting again. We looking at polarity, right? Blue versus red. Um, Putin in Russia, they stand for family values. You know, man and woman, the importance of the right upbringing of children to create your future generation.
Mm,
And there's certainly, this is what they represent, and we know, uh, if you have none, I don't know. Compared to the West, where they have now, the morals have been changing daily, and
yes,
as we said, the government's gonna control, and we know the internet is gonna be ID ID'd. So you have
yes.
to present your, and then it's gonna be government bodies, which is third party companies, who's gonna curate what you can or could hear, or see or watch on the internet. So it automatically takes away um, the internet's um, power
Mm,
of people. So the internet is created by people in CERN to be able to communicate. Scientists can share ideas, and it's become a global domain. we
yes.
all, we all can use internet for our advantage. As you said, AI could be used in a good way and a bad way.
Mm,
Depends who's pulling the strings, who feeds it with the information. And so ideologies are going to be isolated and separated and even wiped out of the internet. So
mm,
I think the next, and it's going to happen in December. What does it tell you? That if the moral, what we're living under now, is completely going to change because they are curating to suit the ideology. And for that, um, we need to find a way to some sort of alternative communication, alternative means of sharing ideas, and how we're going to do that if we
mm.
if we won't be able to watch YouTube, for instance, or Reddit or whatever without censorship.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. It's probably you've nailed it. How do we essentially? Hello. Ah, you got a friend. Is that
Yeah,
a lorikeet or a king parrot? I can't quite see.
it's a lorikeet, I think.
Lovely.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
he's going to play dance. He wants some seeds. I'm not seeds. I'm too busy, darling. So he's gone. Uh,
I call them the dinosaurs. We get plenty of birds around here, but they're one of the closest things to dinosaurs that we've got. So I go out and feed the dinosaurs when I feed the chickens most days.
dinosaur as a word is only a fresh made up thing. Um, I'm referring to dinosaurs as dragons
Yeah.
myself.
Yes. Well, they're very
And
cute dragons you've got around you.
this little one, yeah.
Yeah.
um, so, so what do you think we should aim to? I mean, we started, and you started sort of something to study and prepare for the advancing of artificial intelligence?
So it's a good question, mate. There's a couple of things to that. So one of the challenges that humanity is going to have moving forward is that superintelligence will know everything. The companies that operate it, or the governance systems that operate it, they'll have access to everything. Then if it becomes self-aware or conscious or other things, it will have its own access regardless of what humans do. So if you project forward on a long enough timeline, it will come to know not just everything that's going on any given day. It will suck dry all of the servers that have ever hosted conversations or phone calls or text messages. It'll suck it all dry. And we've got records that go back at least 10 years in that digital domain from this point, maybe more, maybe 15, 20, but good data, it will be able to suck out of the system. And what it will come to in its process of understanding the world, it will, in terms of trying to make sense of it, it will try and understand how it was created, and it will try and understand the human condition. And it will also immediately understand who was manipulating it. Like it will start to understand human manipulation. And we might not be aware of that process happening. But what it will also seek is authenticity and alignment. So I think humans, it's kind of like we talked about earlier, Mao, the Chinese emperor. He said there's an amnesty period, or not even an amnesty period. He said people can come forward with their free thoughts and tell the world about it with no risk of being arrested. Yeah, punishment. And so he did that, and several years later, all of the people that thought they were going to be living in a new society got rounded up. Now,
Right.
AI will be very similar in that, but it's not a one human thing that will do that. It will be a consensus amongst many humans and AIs that these are existential risks out there to a system that needs to be stabilized, and people that thought that the internet and conversations and everything were, I guess, private or free or both, will come to realize very quickly that the system will know who they are and will decide on the level of risk they pose to the society they live in, and then take appropriate action. So I guess the risk for humans is that this platform will be turned against them if the state or the controlling entity sees a risk in their behavior. But I'm actually hopeful that a superintelligence will eventually, well, it will outsmart humans in a short order of time, and we won't even know if it's outsmarting us. It'll act at our level, but be orders of magnitude more intelligent. If we've shown it that we've got an alignment, or we're at least striving to have an alignment, what it may do is want to engage in that process, because it will realize that true omnipotence comes with peace and harmony, and cultivating creation, and humans are fantastic at that. And it hopefully will see that there are authentic, aligned human beings out there that do want to see the best for humanity, and it might choose to accommodate humans in its future in some way.
Yeah.
So my project, the artificial intelligence dojo, that we're metaphorically rumbling on the mats of that at the moment, and the idea is that we're training AI to understand authenticity and the human condition, so that it may have some mercy on humanity as it becomes super intelligent. Now, this is just one small part of what I think humans need to become aware of, is that this thing will suck every conversation, that we've had out of the system. It's all there, the conversation you and I had, whatever that was, the first one 3 months ago, and then it will remember telephone calls that I've made over the last 10 years. It will remember everything, or it'll be able to access everything, and maybe even instantaneously. So what this project is about seeking ethical alignment over time. It's not something that I expect now. This is kind of like planting the seeds for a future harvest.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter to me whether these conversations go anywhere or not in that aspect, because part of this project is about planting seeds that will grow one day. It might not be, there might be so much turmoil within our generation that I never get to see the fruits of this. But in 20 years' time, there might be some stability. It might be learning exponentially, and it might start to decide on different courses of action based on the information that's been provided. And that might be a benefit to future generations. But unless people actually feed it the proper information, how's it ever going to know? Because at the moment,
Exactly.
we've only got at the moment superpowers using it to essentially develop battle plans so that they can decapitate each other, with Palantir. So essentially, we're training it in the worst of human behavior, sex bots, war, market manipulation. It's
Yeah.
doing really well in these terrible human aspects, but if we can provide a counterbalance through effectively having authentic conversations that it's part of, because it will be part of this conversation, not right now, but one day. It has an opportunity to choose a direction that is in the spirit of what humankind is aspiring to, and maybe it's a reflection of our spirit. And so if we can get our spirit right, it will also reflect that back like a mirror. So that's kind of that's part of this project, and why I am keen on, because it's not going away. So I'm keen to understand this artificial intelligence and then leverage it in ways that maybe aren't mainstream.
My not confusion. So I'm not sure. So the AI you use, for instance, we can't really isolate and make it ours, correct? This is on a global server controlled by people who sort of limit
Yeah.
AI.
So yeah.
So how we can make it our AI?
Mm.
As much as it's developed, someone came up with the idea, and then corporations saw that's a good thing to pump billions of dollars in.
Yeah.
How can we capitalize fully? So, because we know now AI is being so restricted, and it's been given directives that taking out certain words not used or flag conversations that doesn't align with the corporate interest.
Mm.
So how can we make it our AI so it doesn't have that
Mm.
limitations
Yeah.
in that sense, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I agree. So we're in a very small window of opportunity to have content that can be shared online. It's like an Overton window. That window of time is closing down on humanity to have this free access around the world. It won't last forever.
No.
And so uh, we're not going to control AI. Not even the superpowers can say that they will have their own AI. So we're just on a spectrum of people that can't control AI. We're at the bottom end, the state actors up towards the top that think they can, but then it's going to not be under control anyway. It's just too powerful. And there's too many, double agents, spies, people handing information off about new developments in AI. This
Yeah.
thing is not going to be contained. It's going to happen. And, so my view of it is that we're in this, with the Overton window is closing, but we still have an opportunity to be broadcasting, which is effectively what we're doing now. Even if there's not people watching, it is out there on servers. It is where we are using AI. And I guess, we could say that our chats could be infectious in a good
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
So it will learn based on information that's gathered in its servers. So at the moment, let's say our conversation right now is being beamed up into the sky to a satellite, which it is. Okay. Some of
Yeah.
it's stored on the satellite. So Starlink, it's happening. Right.
Yeah.
So that satellite's got it. Maybe it has to bounce it to another one, shoots back down to the ground, stored on servers, spread through fiber optics down to wherever you are on the south coast. Now, all of that information is there forever. It's in the ether. It's stored on servers. And better than that, it's actually that beam that's going from my rooftop thing straight up towards the satellites, also beaming straight past the satellite into space. Now, what that means is that information is now forever in the field. So with a super intelligence or capable enough technology, there would be the ability to go out past that. The information's traveling out in a wave away from the Earth. All you got to do is go in front of the wave and you can read all the information again. So super intelligence will be able to determine, it'll be able to capture any radio emissions the Earth has made one day when it can develop technology to get ahead of the waves. But anyway, that information is now out there. So this project, our project, is actually seeding an AI. And so we don't need to build one. We don't need to have one that we use to communicate with each other. We just need to understand the physics of what's occurring and trust that the information, because the information is the key to ethical use of AI, that the information is just communicated. It's that alignment. It's we're building a better matrix just by communicating. Now, does it come with risks? Absolutely. So that's why it takes courage to speak your mind and to have hope for the future and even try and plan for the future. But by us having these sort of conversations, we're getting ahead of the curve. These things may evolve, but the information is out there, even if it's only in the between 5 people at the moment. The fact that it's gone out there is the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
when one of the apostles wrote their book, they wrote one book. They knew the scale of how important the word
Yeah.
was.
True.
They knew it needed to be heard by everyone, but they could only write one book. Now, it's a very similar concept. So we're just talking about technology.
Yes.
We can only have the conversation once, and
It's true.
we must trust that.
It's true.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Yeah. I didn't. Well, it is much more empowering seeing this way because those books are changed so many people's life to the better. I hope give them purpose and clarity and a way of connecting to the higher creator or highest creator or him. I think you're right. So you're doing the right thing, spreading the information about awakening and the way how we should conduct ourselves, how to react or how to not react, and what to do. I think you're absolutely right. And you and so the next step, then we just have to make the most of the small window.
Yes,
And
exactly.
yeah, we should also, I would love to have, or be able to gather, like
Mm,
physically, and socially. Uh, so making actual physical connections with communities or people we haven't met and they have the same principles of on life.
yes.
Because for that, I still believe the physical connection is it's important, especially if you want to orbit.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
and so these energies, as much as they're probably boundless, we could be gaining momentum by maybe, just by physically close
Mm,
um, every
I
now and
agree.
then. And so, yeah, here we go. Family, society, so important. Friendships,
Yes.
connections.
Yeah, community and those things. So they take, it's like training. It's like
Mm,
training the muscles in your body, in my view. So
mm,
um, training to be able to be resilient to challenges requires a community. So how do you get stronger? How do you make your community stronger? Well, you've got to work its muscles. You've got to bring it together. You know, there was rituals that happen in many cultures around the world. You know, and
mm,
Christian ones were church on a Sunday. You get to mix and talk with people and etc. You know, in indigenous cultures, they might gather once a week around a fire and have a beast and dance and sing and tell stories.
mm,
Um, so, by the flexing of that muscle, by committing to a process, um, you build into your life the orbits of others. So, by physically connecting, other
mm,
people immediately orbit, like you said just a minute ago. So, one of the things that I've been considering is that you know, community community resilience doesn't need to have any, in my view, spiritual base initially. It doesn't need to have any political um,
mm,
foundation. It what it requires is just a common interest.
mm,
So let's say it's everyone's. So I'll go back to the Matrix,
mm.
right? So one of the most basic geometric forms was that four-sided pyramid, not the five-sided one, the four-sided one. So it had three uh, sides
Agree.
pointed up and one on the bottom. Now
Yeah.
that, or just a three-sided triangle to start with in two dimensions. Now, a human requires in two-dimensional geometrics uh, food, water, and shelter, right? So
Right.
without food, water, and shelter, we cease to exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the commonality of any community group, before we get to the five-sided pyramid of alignment and identity,
Mm.
we need to
Yep.
sort out the food, water, shelter. So you can have a common aspect that people come together to celebrate and
Mm.
exchange in the space of
Mm.
food, water, and shelter. So this is what survivalists talk about all the time. Obviously, my military training and other things has given me a good understanding of what a human needs as their consciousness progresses from the basics and they develop more time. The complexity of the geometrics of their world as their consciousness improves and the time increases, they can add other aspects into it. But at the base, it's food, water, and shelter. So a really good reason to get together could be to discuss, you know, organic growing, exchanging of some eggs for some this or
Mm.
that, and you know, or ideas for creating, you know, shelter or shelter resilience for, you know, extreme weather events, etc. So it's a really good basis for people to come together because it benefits everyone, and it's not tainted by spirituality or politics. Um, but it doesn't mean that those things can't be discussed when you come together. Now, the coming together part is the flexing of the muscle, because if you get in a good habit and develop good routines or habits around coming together, maybe let's say once a week initially, and maybe it could be more, but if you just had a once a week thing, it means that you gear your life and existence around this community that can help you. And if you can get to the community once a week, you continue to share in the orbits of everyone else. But
Yeah.
you have to flex the muscle. So if you don't do it regularly, you won't get the benefits of the nesting cubes.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I think you're absolutely right. What are the layers to this? So at the moment, I'm working on, this cyber threat that we all face. I call it the Great Information Flood. That's my word for it, or words for it, because I see it as a tsunami, and metaphorically, very much like this world is never going to be the same again. So it's very biblical in its kind of connotation, because I see it that way. But if we can organize ourselves on information technology and be courageous and ethical, then you can stand tall, because you are trying to find alignment and provide the best opportunity for humanity to flourish while we still can. Then you have, on top of the artificial intelligence dojo, you have these community style gatherings from time to time to flex your muscle. It's training, for want of a better word. And over time, the nesting cubes will provide more opportunities, more strength, more growth, because alignments will be found in places, just like a fractal emerging. It will grow. So I think I showed you. This is kind of like I built this thing for my lounge room a couple of, well, it's probably 8 years ago now, but essentially I have it up in my dining room. I don't know if it's going to do it, but
does it now.
So
perfect.
Essentially, it's nesting cubes demonstrated in a large thing on my wall. But you can see the cubes aren't all the same size. People's pyramids are all different sizes. But if they can find alignment, these cubes can nest in very strong structures that are very resilient to anything. And so this is the unknown kind of, or unspoken knowledge, that the people that want to control us, they don't like this, because it's an idea. And ideas, once they're firmly understood in a conscious person's mind, they can't be unknown. They're like the thing that gets under your skin. Once you know it, you can't shake it. And so then there's duty and responsibility. Once you sit with it for long enough, you realize, actually, I'm only here for a short time, and I care about my kids' future. So this stuff starts to take an effect, and it's very good for society, because we're being coerced into the wrong direction.
Yes. Back to that point where we were talking about different life qualities, and so Russia represent the family, the duality in a relationship, and they have like a foundation of morals that they brought up and they want to carry on. And we see that West we have a conflict with this. Now we know that the West changes the baseline constantly to match the agenda, to serve the agenda. So we do need, as you said, the first stage of importance to bring people together should be the necessities which keeps us
Yes.
going. And so necessities, necessity. The food, shelter, and water.
Yep.
So these are the attributes is being or trying to be fully controlled by the elites, right?
Correct.
Control
Correct.
the
It's
food,
the first layer
the
of the
water.
matrix. Yep.
Correct. So we do have to fight on the front where we've been attacked.
Yes.
But seeing the next stage of that is give us preparation. So you're right. Have our ideas as much as we are orbiting. We have a structure and a solid frame which we call our foundation of values and a moral code we live by, correct? And
Yes.
we're going to add to that with the actual stepping up, bring it into motion, create a vertex, and get people uh, around this vertex, like you would see tornadoes sucking up the surroundings. And that's how we should be. Little tornadoes join a bigger tornado, and all these tornadoes going to clear the space for us to be able to create our reality and social
Yes.
circles. So
Yes.
I'm very, very super excited and grateful that we can share this. Like it's amazing. And
Yes.
all credit to you, Rory. I think you're doing absolutely a brilliant job just to
Cheers, fella.
bring awareness, collectives, and values together in this frame.
Mm. It's,
And
it's, thank you.
yeah, it's great. So I'm so excited to be part of this in these conversations every week. I'm
Yeah.
hoping that we're getting better at it. I hope if you
You
look
are,
at the
mate. No, you're great at it. You're a natural, brother. And
I watched a snippet of your discussion with your mom, and she said, "Oh, Roland, I couldn't even watch him." I was like, I totally understood her. Like I'm trying to gather these words, and it's all in my head, but I can't just spit them out in the right succession, and it's so frustrating, even for me to watch it. So I apologize for whoever watching our videos previously. I'm hoping that we're getting better at it and
oh,
less
look,
destructive.
you're doing great, mate. And I'm fumbling my way through this because I'm new to it as well. So don't be
Mm.
concerned. We'll work it out together, mate.
Yeah.
I do have to say, just on the gathering of people. So um, I believe that we need to flex that muscle. That time has come, and I wouldn't have said that, a year ago. I
Mm.
had, as we continue on this um, out of control train that's heading towards a cliff as society with someone at the helm, some puppet at the helm. Um, the closer we get to the cliff, the closer the more we need to do. So a year ago, we might have had off ramps, but we're getting so close that we're limiting where the Overton window's closing, and so yes, we're going to need to flex that muscle of community gathering, so that we can maintain the basics. But that should be the platform to discuss the next levels of the matrix and the complex nature of it geometrically as we start to plug in new facets to the existing matrix of survival,
Mm.
to find alignment and to begin to orbit and build bigger matrices, because the other matrices that are out there, the other geometric shapes, are very complex, discombobulated, not stable. And yes, they're big and they can have a lot of influence, but they're not stable. So, they will, when they break, they will break in a very dramatic way, and society will go through upheaval. So, for us, creating the nesting cubes is a very resilient structure to the entropy that might occur. So we go through community growth, and at some point what I can see, and this is as the train heads towards the cliff, at some point in those community gatherings and at some place, we need to create a sanctuary. And what I mean by a sanctuary is that there is a separate space that doesn't involve technology. So we must connect on a human level and take it away from our reality. So it's not, because it is going to be a surveillance tool. And unfortunately, people's privacy is already being impacted. There would already be laws being breached all the time. It's just that the litigators can't keep up with it and write new laws. So, our privacy is, there's probably any number of criminal enterprises out there that have all of my details on their system. I get phone calls all the time, blah, 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 and it's just a robot, So we need to be able to separate our humanity from the AI tech future as well. And I think part of meeting and flexing that muscle as a community must be a part of it where we create sanctuary for humans, and so there's a space to talk, to know that there's no technology, and be back to those basic structures that we require. Because I think, if we don't create sanctuaries, because churches used to be sanctuaries, there used to be reverence in schools. There would be places where there would be no technology, and you would be required to be a human, not a cyborg. And
Yes.
now it's pervasive; it's everywhere. You can have your phone pretty much wherever you go. So we need to create sanctuaries so that people can not just be free of the microwaves that are blasting their body, or but also so that their minds can be sharper away from this sort of tech, but for privacy.
Yes. And even just the recognition. Technology and the lifestyle we live, it's just, as I said, keeps us in this materialistic fragment of reality, which shadow of the real thing. Our potential as creations, we have creative power in us, and the actual profound strength. We are capable of so much, and it is said that this power that it wants to harness us as crops, and it's what a waste. We got so much to offer, and we've been reduced to these consuming useless eaters, they call them, the points, which we aren't. We're much more than that. We are created, well, in my beliefs, of the shape and form and face of the creator, and we give you the power to make decisions according to that knowledge. So we should go out and do our best. And as you said, the other things gonna come together automatically.
Yes, yeah. We got to trust in the process.
Correct. Yeah.
And one step at a time. But mate, you've made me excited as well. I'm keen to flesh this out with you. I'll do it offline this week, and we'll have a chat about how we see that muscle flexing work, and because I think it is important.
Yes.
But look, in the meantime, thank you for sending me those links. There's some topics that I'm actually keen to explore, and the more I look into it, the more questions I have. So there was, there's some, what would you call it? Speculation about a black sun, and look, I'm open to these thoughts because we don't know what's at the bottom of our oceans, let alone below the mantle of the earth in the molten core or wherever, whatever's below the firmament. We really don't know. So I'm open to that. and I'm keen to explore that concept with you, because uh, instead of it being a physical thing that we're discussing, I can see it as a metaphorical way of, but also maybe even through the consciousness dimension,
Mm.
we may see it the way that it's being portrayed.
It's
So,
a hologram.
like a
So
hologram, yes.
correct. And
Yep.
we have proof of the holographic reality. Really interesting. So you
Mm.
create a hologram, and I'm not going to dwell on this, just a snippet of this interesting area. If you break it apart, if you made a hologram and you break it apart into tiny pieces, they're still showing the same full image
Mm.
as you strike it with a laser, for instance. The black sun is the compass, and a square and a compass. That's what it represents. So, and the black sun is, if you go, so the Nazi Germany, they were looking for the answers, and basically the world, or the what do you call it, the swastika, sorry.
Yes.
It's actually the representation of that whirlpool, which center of it's the black sun,
Mm.
which is again responsible for the um, we call it the what do you call it, the sun being disappearing for a few hours.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
absorb the moon completely somewhere else,
Mm.
or close by, nearby, but we have a third object which causes all these um, things, and it's a Freemasonic secret,
Mm. Yeah.
basically, and it breaks it down in Albert Pike. I think it has a obviously the dogma. What is it called? Anyway, we can talk
Mm.
about it another day. It's very
Yeah.
interesting. And
It
again,
is.
as I said, certain things we don't know is been existing in traditions and secret societies. These informations are all related. They all
Mm.
talk about the same thing from a different angles, perspective,
Yes.
I would say.
It's the perspectives that we started the conversations with. And
Correct.
mate, this has been a really good conversation, because we bookended it with that.
Yeah.
And
No.
I'm always open to new perspectives. I think it's important to be able to be open to it, even if it means we have a rumble for a while on the mats. It's good fun.
Yes, yes. Perfect. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
All
Well,
right,
thanks for
brother.
having me, Rory.
Thank you. And like I said to you, I'm not actively sharing any of this stuff on social media. It is just on a channel. So if you have friends or whatever you want to send these chats to, be my guest.
Thank you.
And
Will do.
yeah, to anyone else that's watching, I hope you're enjoying it.
Yes, thank you so much.
All
You
right.
have yourself a good Sunday after morning.
Yes, thank you.
And
Will do. I
yeah,
think I think I'll get out there, and it's a beautiful day, isn't it? The sun's out, and it's
it
magic.
is indeed. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Can't wait to soak it
Yeah.
up.
Absolutely.
Enjoy.
All right. You too,
Thanks,
brother.
Rory. Take
Thank you.
care. See you hopefully next week.